Good afternoon, everybody.
Hi, all. It is afternoon, isn't it?
Yeah, it is afternoon.
So, how's everyone doing? How's everyone taking care of themselves? All that good stuff.
Yeah, all
So,
that wonderful
it's
stuff.
it's us again, your favorite therapist, your number one therapist. If you didn't know, you now know. So, today we're going to jump right into it, and we were asked a question, and I think this is our second recording of this, just to kind
Yeah,
of put it out
because
there.
the first time we did it, which was actually pretty good, and I forgot to turn on the microphone. Yeah.
So, and he told me he did turn it on. I should have checked, but I didn't. But you sure it's on, right?
Yes, it is on.
Okay. Yay, Dr. Green. Woohoo! You get a brownie for that. All right. So today's episode is focused on how to notice when a colleague is in distress or having any kind of mental health distress.
Yes.
And this, I guess, is very important nowadays because so often we are very disconnected from our coworkers, or we're connected, but we don't want to get involved. It's none of our business, or
Hmm.
I'll let the supervisor deal with it. No one says anything, and then something happens, suicide occurs.
Mass shootings.
Well, yeah, that doesn't mean everyone gives a sign. Sometimes
No.
there's no sign. But this is just some things to start paying attention to that you could potentially intervene and help that individual. And it doesn't have to be even suicide or mass shootings. It could just be a breakdown at work, or just the
Just
quality of their work getting
oh
less
yeah,
done.
just concerned. You notice differences that weren't there previously.
Boom, there you go. All right, so the first thing we'll say, changes in
Your
work
work
habits.
habits. Yes.
So this will include like someone who's top notch and suddenly their work performance goes down. This could be they don't seem as motivated or as engaged at work with their coworkers or with the work
Yes.
itself. This is that you see that they're often kind of spacing out at their desk, or
A drop in work productivity.
right, and you see them kind of spacing out and just at the window at their desk. If they're at the water cooler, they may not even just their work is just going downhill. And then, well, yeah, just they normally meet deadlines. They hit all the marks, and suddenly they're missing deadlines. The work is half done. So
Yes.
that is definitely a big sign to pay attention to and to inquire about. And if you're not comfortable in doing so, also taking it to a supervisor. And it's not to snitch on them or get them in trouble, but just saying you notice a change, so you just want to see if something's going on that's keeping them from being as productive as they have been.
Yes. Also, things to look for: changes in appearance. Someone who's usually on top of their game dress wise
Mm-hmm.
or hair, and you see that they're obviously not on their game that they once were.
Right, and we don't want to say about body odor too. That can be
Yes.
another thing. That self care component is missing.
Someone's not showering like they were before.
Right, and then like you said, and I always joke with my old job. Um, I'd stop. I would dress up for like important meetings and things like that, but I just started wearing jeans to work, and it's not that I didn't care about the job. I was getting up at crack of dawn and didn't care. But that was a big change for me, and even when I finally identified that change, I realized that was reflective in my attitude in the morning, getting dressed and getting ready. It was kind of like,
Hmm.
I gotta drive 2 hours. I gotta do this instead of let me get, because when I dressed nice, I felt nice, and so once I changed that, my mood did improve.
That's a good thing to bring up. Also, keep in mind these same things that we're talking about can reflect in just how you feel in general about your job.
I realized I was burnt out. Not well, some from the job, but mostly from the drive, and that helped me to pay attention to that. That okay, I've got to come up. So I had to come up with a way to make my job bearable and enjoyable. So I did the audibles. I started listening to podcasts. I had my water and snacks, and so I would have a good old drive and less stress going to work and coming home, which was
Hmm.
important.
Okay.
So,
Um,
well,
one,
next I would say changes in demeanor.
yes.
So I kind of mentioned it at the beginning, but this is like someone who's always engaging, the heart of the party, and then suddenly you see that they're kind of quiet. They're not as engaging. They seem nervous or worrying a lot, or they're just irritable, snap really quickly, whereas maybe
Hmm.
they didn't do that, and um, or you just notice that they're constantly like just engaged in something stressful, or you may even hear them arguing over the phone with someone.
Yes.
This could look like certain unusual behaviors where they're staring into space, or become accusatory of being feeling like people are out to get them or affect their job and things like that.
Anxious.
Anxious, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so paying attention to that. And an example I think of, I know I always have an example.
Don't worry, because I have examples too.
I one day I hadn't slept good for a couple of weeks, and this one day, I think it was our Christmas party. That morning I was great, but as the day progressed, my energy just drained. And so by the end of the day, everyone's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just really tired. Sleep's been off." But it was so concerning for them because I'm always the hyper one and all over the place, that literally they were calling me on the way home. "Hey, are you good? Do you need to talk? You wanna meet? You wanna meet real quick and appetize?" And I'm like, "Y'all, I'm good. I just really need a good night's sleep." But it meant a lot that they paid attention to see
They noticed.
that, right? That they
Mm-hmm.
noticed. Because even when I got home, I actually ended up getting everybody a big Hershey kiss to thank them for checking in on me. But as soon as I got home, I was out. And I slept so good and so hard, and I think I even got to work late because I slept right through my alarm
Mm-hmm.
too. But again, their checking in was meaningful, because what if it had been more? That was an opportunity to either make me more aware if I wasn't really aware of it, or an opportunity for me to share with someone. Well, I'm stressing about this and I'm stressing about that. So we think it's small, but that did mean a great deal to me.
Mm-hmm.
I know you said you had an example.
I'll say them at the end because
Okay.
it kind of relates to something else that we'll say later.
Okay.
But keep in mind also something to look is increased absenteeism and being late for work.
Yep, that is. You're right. Those are definitely poignant. Because if you're just not happy, it's kind of hard to get up and get motivated.
To get your butt to go into work, and you talk yourself out of work, and you just can't, like you said, you just can't get it together to get there on time.
Right, or it's taking you longer, or taking that person longer to get dressed. Where normally they could get dressed in an hour, suddenly it's taking them hour and a half, 2 hours. And some people are just slow dressers, and that's fine. They usually know to get up
I'm usually
much
slow.
hours.
I'm just slow.
But well, I now am a slow dresser because I like to take my time. Whereas before in the morning I would rush,
Mhm.
and now I like to be able to just kind of flow. But again, it's something to pay attention to if it's something new. Now, if they've just always been tardy, I mean, it's just some people like that where you're just like, okay, that's done. When they're on time, you're like, are you okay? All right.
Well,
Go ahead.
something else to look for are outbursts or mood swings at work.
Right. So this is where they, and this kind of goes to the demeanor, where they may constantly feel like they're being attacked, or people are out to get them or sabotage them. This could be they
Overly
get
aggressive.
very aggressive, and you've never seen this behavior before. They're disruptive. They cut people off when they're talking. They're dismissive of your feelings or your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And they, again, if this is new behavior, because some people are like that naturally, but this is something that's new for them or unusual for them. This is where you want to pay attention to kind of see what's going on. Maybe it's just stress, maybe it's work related, home related, but again, stepping in does make a difference. Did you want to add something? I just kind of ran with that.
No, I'll save it all for the end. I'll
Okay.
try to keep it in mind and save it for the end.
See, he's good with that. I gotta say it now, or I forget. Something else you may find is that they're withdrawing or they're isolating. So this goes back to
Yes.
the person that's constantly engaging and laugh, and now suddenly you barely hear from them or see them. They just kind of disappear in the office, or that they don't do any activities with the office at all, whereas they used to. Even if it was just sometimes, maybe not every activity. Now they don't want to engage at all. If it's not just to get the work done, they just cut everyone off. You may find that if you all did things after work, they don't even want to engage then. That literally it's no engagement except the
Someone
handwork and
who used to participate in the work activities,
mm-hmm.
they're now not participating at all.
Right. And then you also may see the decrease in work, and then it's just no engagement at all, and so you don't even know what's going on. So, and these are just a few things. There are other things as well, but this is just a few main, I think, big things to pay attention to.
And I guess things I was thinking about is that keep in mind, I mean, we see our coworkers 8 hours out of the day, if not more time.
Sometimes more than their family.
Yeah, exactly. Because the time you spend with your family when you get home from work, 5 o'clock, if you have kids, your kids take up your time, and it's time to go to bed. You know, maybe 8, 9, 10 o'clock. Depends on who you are.
Right.
So your time is pretty limited with your family.
Right. And so, and usually you're trying to catch up on bills, what's happening with school, with the kids, whatever's
If
going
you're
on.
able to catch up at all.
True. And so sometimes it's the coworkers you're spending the most time with, and depending on the type of job too. If you're traveling like for that job, and
Exactly.
things like that. So that's the person you're engaged with more. So you want to have a situation where you're able to kind of say, "Hey, everything good? You need to talk. I've noticed this. I've noticed that." And if it's someone you're not close to, but you still notice a difference, or if you're just not comfortable, you can go to a supervisor and say, "I've noticed these changes. Can you check in with this
Mhm.
person? I just want to make sure they're okay." And it's not a situation where you're trying to get them in trouble or just
Yeah.
share about their declining work, but this is a concern because you know this is not their normal or typical behavior.
Mhm.
And you can also take it to HR too,
Yeah.
because a lot of businesses now do offer EAP services, so that they can get quick, short-term support, and they can even refer them to ongoing support if it's identified that they
Yeah,
need it.
because we see people with various EAP services.
Mhm.
Because you address taking it to the supervisor, taking it to HR. If it's someone that you know personally and you have a pretty comfortable relationship with them,
They
you
say
can
it.
approach.
Right.
You can approach them.
And we don't, and a lot of times I think people feel like, well, I don't want to get all in someone's business, but, and that doesn't mean they need to tell you all their business.
No.
But we forget that sometimes that quick engagement can make such a difference in someone's life that someone
It can.
took the time to pay attention, to notice. It's just like when I identified when my coworkers were very concerned with me that day. You know, it wasn't anything but sleep, but it still meant a lot that they had gotten to know me well enough on a professional level, and I guess even a personal level, to know that, okay, this isn't the bubbly, silly Mercia who was busting through the door and saying, "Have a great evening, beautiful people," and I was just like, "All right, good night." And
Keep in mind, you asking that one question, "Is everything okay?" might make the difference between someone taking their life and someone just telling you everything that's wrong and you connecting them with help.
Or even, what if I didn't realize I was just presenting that way and that I wasn't, and I'm thinking I'm fine. I knew I felt a little less energy, but I didn't think I presented any differently. So what if I just wasn't aware, and that made me more aware, oh, maybe I was a jerk today, or maybe I was this, and I got to apologize to a couple of people because in my tiredness I may have been this or that. So again, it helps us to become better people and to know that someone cares. In a world that we may feel like no one cares, that simple gesture of checking in lets most people know that at least one person in this world cares.
And I guess a couple of examples I wanted to bring up is if it is at all possible for us to try to kind of keep in touch with ourselves, but sometimes when people are suffering from mental illness, they are unable to do that. And I guess the best example I can give is worked at an agency, and the gentleman I was seeing, he was being paranoid at work. He was actually having people go out with him to check his car because he thought someone was after him. That's not normal activity. That's not normal behavior. And these are things to keep in mind. And he's not going to recognize that because he's the person going through the paranoia.
Right.
So just kind of keep these things in mind. Another example, had a client, he was going through a great deal of stress. He didn't recognize he was going through stress. He didn't recognize it. But I'm pretty sure all these things that we discussed, they were there if we were paying attention. And he actually had some psychosomatic reactions, and which presented as a stroke.
And I'm actually a big believer that when we don't deal with our mental health, it shows up in our
Oh,
physical health.
I definitely believe it.
Because
it's-
I always say the mind says, "Oh, you're not going to pay attention to me? Got you." And that's when it shows up.
Yes.
So for me, it's if I'm not paying attention, my stomach is my main thing, and so if it's nothing's helping it, that's when I usually know, okay, I'm not paying attention to something, and my stomach always tells. So that gut feeling is legit for most people, and definitely for me.
And I do tell my clients, it comes out one way or another. It comes out one way or another. It's either going to present physically, or you're going to present with some kind of mental, you know, mental health issues.
Right.
It's coming out one way or the other.
Right. So that's why it's important to deal. That's why it's important to let people know, because we can go through and not even realize that we're presenting a certain way. Our work quality is going down, or we're isolating withdrawal. We just may think we're focused. I don't have time for this. I'm just doing this.
Or I know it's a little problem, but I got this under control.
Right. Or no one knows. So, and then when people start saying, "Well, I may not know what the issue is, but let me tell you what I'm seeing, or how you're
Exactly.
acting, or how you're engaging, or you just yelled at such and such," and you think, "Well, no, I didn't yell." Yeah, you
Yeah,
did.
you did.
So again, paying attention to all of that and sharing it. We've got to get back to connecting to people and knowing the people around us. And that doesn't mean we have to like everyone around us. I mean, you're
Absolutely
not
not.
gonna like every coworker,
Absolutely not.
but that doesn't mean you don't notice little changes. And so again, even if you don't do it directly, finding someone to do it to them. As long as someone is saying something, don't just ignore them like, not a problem. I don't even like him anyway. So I can't think of anything else. You?
Nope, I can't think of anything else.
But no, I can't think of. Yeah, nope. That's all I got. Definitely let us know if you feel like we missed something. We could have added something. Let us know. Remember, this is just a general list. It doesn't cover every single thing, but we wanted people to have at least the basic knowledge to utilize, and even reach out to a counselor just to ask them questions too. If you have a counselor or social worker or someone that's a friend, to say, "Hey, I've noticed this about my coworker. What would you recommend?"
Yeah.
They'll probably tell you the same thing. So just be open to receive it and run with it.
So, if you want to hear more or there are specific questions, make sure you put it in the comments and make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe, guys.
All right. Until next time, have a great day. Don't fry out there if you're in Maryland.
Bye.
Bye.